Hello everyone and welcome back to another LeetCode video solution. So today we're going to be taking a look at the LeetCode question, partitioning into minimum number of Deci-Binary numbers. So a Deci-Binary number is a number which only consists of the digits 0 or 1 and it does not have any leading zeros. So for example 101, 1100. So in this case there's no leading zeros but there's trailing zeros. But there's also numbers like 112 or 3001 which are not Deci-Binary for the reason that it has a digit which is not 0 and 1. So in this case the number 2 and the number 3, right? So now that we know what a Deci-Binary number is, what our goal is that we want to return the minimum number of positive Deci-Binary numbers needed so that they sum up to the number n. So let's just try to better understand what this actually means. So over here, let's just first go over some Deci-Binary numbers, right? So let's just say we have the number 1 and then we have the number 10. So these are all valid Deci-Binary numbers. So we can just keep going on. 100, 1000, then we have 10,000, but I'm pretty sure you get the point so far, right? So this is a few examples of a Deci-Binary number. But I'm sure there are more, and how exactly can we get these other examples? So one really simple way is that by replacing any of these zeros, we're still going to retain a Deci-Binary number. What exactly does that mean? So let's take a look at the number 10. So 10 as it is a valid Deci-Binary number, but if we remove the 0 and replace it with a 1, we have the number 11. And 11 is also a valid Deci-Binary number. So just like that, let's say we have the number 1000, which is a valid Deci-Binary number. Let's remove any one of the zeros, right? Let's say we remove this one and replace it with a 1. We still have a valid Deci-Binary number. And in fact, we could replace all of the zeros and we would still have a valid Deci-Binary number. So hopefully you understand all of the possibilities of Deci-Binary numbers, right? So these are all the possible Deci-Binary numbers that we can have. So now that we actually understand what a Deci-Binary number is, let's actually go back to an example. So let's say we have the number 36. So our goal is, what is the least amount of Deci-Binary numbers we can add in order to get a sum of 36? So let me just straight up show you the answer and then we'll kind of go through how we actually reach to such an answer. So in this case, the best answer would be when we add the number 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So when you add this up, this over here gives you 33, this is 34, 35, 36. So this adds up to 36, and in total we're adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. So in this case we would output the number 6, telling us that it would take us a minimum of 6 Deci-Binary numbers to reach a sum of 36. Now we want to understand, how do we get to the number 6? So let's just take it back one step and let's start off with a very basic and simple example. So let's say we have a single digit number. Let's say the number 4, right? Or 5. Okay. So we have the number 5 and again the goal is still the same. We want the sum of Deci-Binary numbers which adds up to 5. So in this case the first thing we want to look for is, what is a Deci-Binary number which is less than or equal to 5? In this case, there's just one answer, which is the number 1, right? 1 is the only possible thing which is less than 5. And again, remember, we cannot use negative numbers. So in this case, we have the number 1. Now, how can we use 1 to get to 5? Well, that's pretty simple. We just add 1 for a total of 5 times. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 for a total of 5 times gives us a value of 5. So this is exactly what we're getting. And in this case, it would take us 5 ones, or 5 Deci-Binary numbers to get the number 5. So in this case, we would output the number 5. Okay, so it's pretty simple with one digit. Now let's see what happens when we move on to something with 2 digits, right? So let's say, or actually let's just try out with a really simple example of the number 11. So what is one possible way? So let's start off with kind of a simple way, or this is the way that I first thought of, which is we go through this place by place. So first we're going to start off with the units place. So at the units place, we have the number 1. So we need to account for that, which is 1. And then, so we're done accounting for the units place. After adding the number 1, we're done accounting for it. So now let's move on to the next place, which is the tens place, right? So in this case, it's number 10, right? It would be 10 because this would actually end up becoming a 0 after we accounted this 1. So in this case, we just have one number, so we would just do plus 10. So this actually here adds up to our original number of 11. But is there a way that we can actually do this better? So our original number was 11, and in this case, we can actually just directly add the number 11, which is a Deci-Binary number. So in this case, this takes two Deci-Binary numbers, while this just takes one. So in this case, obviously this is the answer, and the minimum Deci-Binary numbers we need is just 1. So we're going to kind of take this idea and let's move on to a little bigger number. Actually, let's just first just see the same thing, but instead let's just add something, another 1. So now we have 111. The only difference is that we would add the number 100 as well over here, giving us, so this would actually take 3 operations, or else we could just directly add the number 111, which would take 1 operation. Okay, now let's move on to a second or a little bit more complex example. Say we're given the number 9,326. Now let's just try to get the total sum by using a very naive solution, right? So the very naive way to do this is first we're going to add the number 1 for a total of 6 times. Then we're going to add the number 10 for a total of 2 times. Then the number 100 for 3 times. And finally the number 1,000 for a total of 9 times. So in simple words, we're going step by step or unit place by place. So units, tens, hundreds, thousands, and each time we're accounting for that place. So this actually is a correct way to do it, and we will end up with the correct sum. Now, what we're basically trying to do by simplifying this is we want to try to do several of these operations at the same time. So what I mean by that is let's just look at one instance of this. So we would have the number 1,000 plus 100 plus 10 plus 1. So this over here is a total of 4 Deci-Binary numbers, which is quite a lot. Instead, all of these 4 could essentially just be one number. So instead of using 1,000 plus 100 plus 10 plus 11, we can just directly use the largest Deci-Binary number, which is 1,111, and that is formed by a combination of these 4. So essentially what we're going to try to do in this question is we're going to try to break it down step by step, and each time we're going to try to combine as many of these smaller Deci-Binary numbers that we can into one, right? And by doing that, we're going to have the minimum possible Deci-Binary numbers used. So let's just actually see what this looks like with the same number. So continuing with 9,326, the first thing that we're going to have is what is the largest Deci-Binary number we can have? And in this case, the largest Deci-Binary number we can have is the number 1,111. Now, when we add the number 1,111, we're going to change our target. So just think of whatever is up top over here as the target that we're trying to get to. And each time by adding a number, the target is going to decrease. And we want the target to be equal to 0. And at that point, that means we've gotten the sum. So now let's account for this number. And by doing that, so you just subtract it by 1,111. And that's going to give us the number 8,215, right? So that's the number that we have now. And that's our new target. So now what is the next Deci-Binary number we can add to it? So let's just try with the largest Deci-Binary number again, which is 1,111. So in this case, 1,111, and the new target that we have is going to be 7,104. Perfect. So now the thing is, the next one, let's just say we try to use the same thing, 1,111. This is actually, so we're still going to change the target, but this is an incorrect way to do it. And the basic reasoning behind this is that we've already accounted for everything in the tens place. So why do we need to continue accounting for it? So in the tens place, we had the number 2. So we added 10. So our way of looking at it is that we're adding 10 for a total of 2 times. And that's exactly what we did. We added it first over here and first over here, right? A total of 2 times. Sorry, second time over here. So then we're done with it. We don't need to worry about the tens place anymore. So in other words, the way we show that is that we're going to convert whatever is in the tens place to a 0, and then we're going to have a 1. So now the new number that we're working with is going to be the number 1,101. Okay, so let's just continue going on with this number. So let's account for the number 1101 right now, and this would give us the number 6003. Okay, so another thing happened over here. So first the tens place had a 0, now even the hundreds place has a 0. And the idea is still the same. So at that time we had the number 3, and our basic idea was to add 100 a total of 3 times. And that's exactly what we did. We added first over here, second over here, and third over here. So now that we're done accounting for whatever is at the hundreds place, we can just completely ignore it. So now the next number, that deci-binary number we're going to add, is just going to be 1001. And by doing this, we're just taking care of whatever is at the units place and whatever is at the hundreds place. So now accounting for this, the next number is going to become 5002, or the next target, right? So we're going to add the same number again, 1101. So now this is going to become 4001. We can add it again, so 1001, and now this becomes 3000. So in this case, we have another 0 at this units place, and what that tells us is that we've again accounted for everything at the units place. Remember, the units place had a number 6, and what we basically wanted to do is we wanted to add the number 1 for a total of 6 times, and that's what we did. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've added it 6 times, and now we don't need to account for it anymore. So in this case, the next number we're adding is just going to be 1000. And the reason we're adding 1000 is because we want to account for only the thousands place. So now by adding 1000, the next number we have is going to become 2000. Then we're going to add 1000 again, giving us a value of 1000. And then we add 1000 again, giving us a value of 0. So now we have a value of 0. That means that with this over here does give us a sum of what we originally had. So adding all of this does give us the original sum of 9326. Okay, so we did get our sum, and now let's see how many deci-binary numbers we use, because by using this method, we have guaranteed that we've used the least amount of possible deci-binary numbers. So in this case, we used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So the answer over here is we took 9 deci-binary numbers, or we need a minimum of 9 deci-binary numbers to actually get a sum of 9326. So this is the basic idea of how this works. But now we can actually break it down a step further and just get to this number 9 directly and a lot faster. So let's just break down what's happening over here. So first, we wanted to go through this unit by unit. That was our basic idea. And to optimize that, we've added several of these operations at the same time. So instead of doing 1000 plus 100 plus 10 plus 11, we just took care of it as 1111. So in this case, the first thing that happened is the smallest value over here is the number 2, and that's in the tens place. So first, we already accounted for whatever is at the tens place. So we added 10 for a total of 2 times, and then at the third time, we didn't have to account for it. So that's basically the kind of progression we saw. Then we had the next smallest number, which is 3, and as you can see, at the third time, we're done accounting for that as well. And then this next smallest number was the number 6, and as you can see, after 6 times, that number has also been accounted for, and it becomes a 0. So in this case, the real thing that's happening is we're always trying to account for the largest number. And as long as the largest number is accounted for by using this method, the other numbers are automatically going to get accounted for. Because look, in the process of accounting for the number 9, we first accounted for 2, then we accounted for the number 3, and then we accounted for the number 6, and then finally, at that point, we only had the number 9 left, so we just kept adding 1000 until we got to it. So in this case, so the answer to this is really simple. All we're doing is we want to find out what is the largest value of a digit. So in this case, the largest digit, so we have 9, 3, 2, and 6, is 9, right? And the largest value we can really have is the number 9. So that's what we end up outputting, and it's going to be 9 in this case. So let's just say we have the number 2349. In this case, the answer is also going to be 9 because the largest digit has a value of 9. So we just directly output the largest digit. So let's just see what this looks like in code. So let's just go over the code over here. So in the beginning, I have a value called result, which has a value of 0. Then I'm going to go inside of a for loop where I iterate through n, and each time I get each of the digits. So what I'm checking for is I want to get the largest or the maximum digit there is. So I'm converting it to an integer and checking if it is greater than whatever is inside of result. And if it is greater, that means that there is a bigger number than whatever I'm holding. So I'm going to replace that. So result is going to be now equal to that current value. And at the very ending, outside of the for loop, I'm going to return the result. And so using that logic, the largest value we can really have is the number 9. So that should be it. So the code itself is really simple, but understanding the logic is what took longer. So as you can see, the submission is accepted. So yeah, so that should be it. Hopefully the video did make sense, and thanks a lot for watching, guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.